We talked about this first day. Take a look at your sequences.
Multiple.
Good. Geometric means we multiply. So geometric represents what we call exponential growth. It's based on the idea of a constant growth rate. Okay, so just like arithmetic where you added the same number or subtracted the same number over again, this is a constant growth rate. So you're multiplying by the same number over and over and over again. Okay, if you multiply by a whole number, it's going to go up. If you multiply by a number less than 1, it is going to go down. Okay, so just like with your arithmetic, we had a common difference. This time, what we multiply by is called a common ratio. And how we find that is we take a term and we divide by the term that comes before it. 8 divided by 12 gives me what? 4. 4 is my common ratio, which, bless you, is represented by R. You can take any number in the sequence and do this. So for this one, I can take 9 as long as I divide by the number that comes directly before it. So 9 divided by 6. Leave it as a fraction. Three over 2. My suggestion to you is if it's in a fraction, leave it as a fraction. If it's in a decimal, leave it as a decimal. Okay. So this one, I can do 2 divided by 6. These are all in fractions, so I would leave it as a fraction. My common ratio then is going to be fraction, 1/3. Everybody knows how to use the calculator to go from decimal to fraction, right?
Yes.
Math, choice number 1.
How do you choose which one to pick?
Math, enter. Yes.
I'm talking about for that. How do you pick which one?
Enter.
You always pick one of the numbers and you divide by the number directly before it.
So you can do any one.
You can pick any one you want. So this one, I can do 84.64, but I would have to divide by 36.8.
All right. So like for the first one, you could have did 92, 192 by
Divided by 48, absolutely. This one is in decimals, so I would leave it as a decimal. What is my common ratio? 2.3. Okay. Take a minute or two and finish the last 5 here, and we'll put them up.
I don't know. You put the fractions as a fraction. I don't know how to do fractions on calculator.
The fraction bar means divide. So like 2/3 is 2 divided by 3 in your calculator.
Oh yeah, I know.
Don't forget, when you put the fractions in for like E, whatever you put the fractions in, put parentheses around them. So like if you're doing 22 over 21 divided by 2 over 3, make sure you put parentheses around your fractions. So your calculator does order of operations correctly.
Order of operations. To be honest, girl, I don't know.
Let me come and look at it, Anita. You're fine.
So if we put a decimal, we can put a decimal, right?
Leave it a fraction.
Divide. So when you plug it in, put parentheses. Remember, it has to be this one divided by this one. So you would open your parentheses.
Yes.
Okay. Put your 22 divided by 21.
Wait, what did you get?
11 over 7.
Close it. Then divide
144 over 63.
and then put your parentheses and put
That's what the parentheses, remember?
close it
That's what I did first.
and change it back to a parentheses. Fantastic. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I did it wrong.
Be careful. This one divided by this one.
So
Make
it's
sure
not
you-
the way around.
Right.
I got 3
It always has to be.
I'm about to do
It
that.
always has to be this one divided by the one before it. You're going opposite.
Wait, I would, okay, I got you.
Just like we did 48 divided by 12, it's gotta be this one divided by this one. So this one should come first. And don't forget your division sign in between your parentheses.
You got what?
Anybody else having issues with putting fractions into their calculator and what I mean by the parentheses?
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell me if you, well, can I come to the first one?
But then I'm pretty sure if all three got the same answer. then-
You want 22 divided by 21 divided by 2 divided by 3
Can I do the answer?
in your calculator. What'd you get, Zach?
I got 11/7.
You got the correct answer.
Yeah, there.
Somebody want to go up and put the
Me.
answer up for F?
If I'm using whole numbers, it doesn't matter if I do decimal or
So I
fraction.
put this one first. I didn't actually realize it would matter. So
When we did the first 4, I talked about the.
I know, and I realized. I realized.
Okay, my friend.
I realized.
Oh my.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
for H. For H. That is, what you said, so I can put decimal. Right?
Yes. I would leave it as a decimal. Your 211.66 is a decimal.
Okay.
I'd leave it as a decimal and move
Leave
on.
this as a decimal. These ones.
These ones, because they're already decimals. These ones are all fractions, so I would change them to a fraction. These ones are all decimals.
Ms. Smith, when are we taking the test for this?
Going to be in class tomorrow, depending on how well we do today, or it's going to be a take home over the weekend.
Bro, to be
Again,
honest, this is
it's all
easy.
going to depend on what we get done today.
It's in a test or quiz.
Right, because this stuff is easy.
We may have time for you to get it started in class, and if you don't finish it, take it home and finish it.
But you mean
Is that right?
Huh?
You mean a quiz?
No, I mean a test. A test on chapter 10. We are finishing chapter 10 today, before you leave.
Gonna test at home? Okay.
That's the answer right there, baby.
Perfect. 3/5. Who's got G for me?
G, I ain't even
Go ahead.
see G.
Good. Paige has got H. Somebody want I?
Let me get J.
Come on, Lacey.
I can do J.
Oh, that's it.
It's easy to look at this. Because that's what you figured out you can do.
My thing is, we do have quite a bit of stuff to do today, so I don't know if we're gonna finish it. We may have to finish it tomorrow, which is why your test might be pushed to an open
It
weekend.
is okay, baby, trust me.
Hey, I'll do it in the weekend.
Honey, I am not your baby.
I'm sorry, baby girl.
Smith. Smith.
I'm like, I'm paying.
Smith.
That is-
I will not, he has not
Miss
missed my
Miller, you
job.
were Picasso. The lady, they look like Picasso.
Picasso.
Look, they're cute. They don't like it. They look art forms.
They do. It's like-
That's an 8. Yeah, I got it.
Miss Smith,
Okay, good.
artwork.
G should have been 9/10. I left mine as a decimal, so it was 0.9. H is 0.28. And Lacey's putting up the last one for us here.
There you go, Lackey.
Perfect. 13.7.
I put it as a fraction.
Questions or problems?
Oh.
It's okay.
Please don't change.
My entire thing is if it's a decimal, leave it. If it's in fractions, leave it as a fraction.
What is that? 2.8?
Yes.
I thought it was a G.
Technically still the same answer.
But,
So-
you know what,
And I mean,
Yeah.
your test is gonna be multiple choice. So if your answers are in fractions, you're gonna know you need a fraction. If your answers are in decimals, you're gonna know you need a decimal.
You know that it's-
I will mark it wrong though if it says, give me a decimal and you give me a fraction, because that's just silly.
Somebody felt
You know me, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I just, my fault. I just.
Pee Wee, you got all this? All right, so population growth. An increase. Okay, when we have increase, that means my R value is greater than 1. Okay, so all of those R values that we got on the last one. We've growing, decaying, because it's less than 1. Growing, growing, decaying,
Oh, wait.
decaying, decaying, growing. Okay? Your R value tells you what's happening. So if we're increasing or growing, my R value is greater than 1. If we're decreasing or decaying, it's between 0 and 1. Your value will never, ever be negative. Please do not make your R value negative.
So it's less than 1 but greater than 0.
It's a fraction or a decimal, basically. Right. Example problem number 1. A mom offers to double her daughter's allowance every month for the rest of the year. The daughter currently has a $5 monthly allowance.
What else?
Okay. So, what is my transition? How often is this happening? Every month. So, every month. My transition rule. What am I doing to my number every time? I'm doubling. Okay? So P sub n is 2. Whoops. I didn't mean to put a parenthesis there. 2 times P sub n minus 1. I take my previous number and I multiply it by 2. And I keep up with that pattern. So my population sequence then. The first month, she gets $5. The second month, she gets 10, 20, 40, 80, 160,
Wait a minute.
320.
640.
Woo! I want to be her.
Wait a minute. I don't get it.
You don't get what?
She gets $5 monthly. So the first month.
Times each one by 2, Zell. Each time it goes.
She said she's going to double her allowance.
Oh yeah. See, I
So
didn't-
double 5 is 10.
Right.
Then double 10 is 20.
So you're
Double
just
20
doubling
is
each
40. You're doubling each time.
I'm gonna ask my grandma to do that for Christmas.
I don't know. I want to know how old she is. Because, like, let me tell you, if I'm like 5 and you're giving me $320 a month, how much money will the daughter in the last month of the year receive for her allowance? Okay.
We only did 7. We got.
So this is the first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month,
dang.
sixth month.
No, I thought 5 was the first month.
That's what it started.
That's where you started.
Oh,
So that's a 0.
Yeah, so you know it starts at 0.
So it always starts, right. It always starts at 0. So we're at
Right.
6 months now. We have to keep going. So 640, 1280,
2560,
2560,
5120,
5120, 10240, and 2480.
Boy, that's a lot of money.
Woo!
I want to be that child.
I mean, I don't even make that much in a month working. See that kid that just sits on my room and makes $20,480 in a month from allowance.
She only offers her.
Oh, I'm really about to ask my grandma if she can do that. She gonna get mad.
She gonna
Your
get
grandma's going to slap you.
She was about 1.
You want to not? We can start off with
Okay. Let's do the last problem at the bottom of this page before you all leave for lunch on me. Example number 2. We have $1,000 deposited in a retirement account that pays 10% annual interest. What's my transition?
A year?
A year. Annual is 1 year. My transition rule. What is happening?
Depositing.
It's going up by what?
10%.
10%. How do I write that as a decimal? 1.1. So P sub n equals 1.1 times P sub n minus 1. Okay, remember 10% increase is 10% over 100, which is 1.1 as a decimal. So population sequence. We start with $1,000. What do we make after a year?
100.
1,100. 1210. 1331. Okay, we'll stop there. How much money is there in an account after 25 years? Holy cow, this is a pain in the butt. Let me give you the shorthand right now. You ready?
24.
Okay, your equation, we're gonna do this on the backside, but so we don't have to torture ourselves here. Your equation that we're gonna use, P sub n equals P sub 0 times R raised to the n. Okay, P sub 0, what do you think that represents?
1,000.
Your initial account. Okay, this is your initial amount. So we've got $1,000 times, what's my R? My common ratio, 1.1. What does N represent? 25 years.
I knew it was alright.
Bang. There it is. Plug that in. What do we get?
We get 10,834.7.
How do you do, oh, wait a minute.
Do the up the little carrot.
The little carrot key.
And then 25.
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. This is your equation you will use every time to find any number within a series.
We go down.
Well,
Okay.
chill until lunch.